am Maria, and this is my channel, Ali Juno's Crafty Corner. I talk about cross stitch, sewing, knitting, crochet, a little of everything. It's a crafty corner. If you are new here, I want to say thank you for coming in. I hope you enjoy the video today. I'm going to be showing a little bit of everything. I've kind of been missing in action the last couple of months. Things have been crazy. I've done a few stitch with me's, but that's about it. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you very much. We have a Simon kind of deciding if he's going to stay in the background or leave. Most likely he's going to end up leaving, but he did grace us with a little bit of his presence. Okay, so like I said, I don't really have much cross stitch to show. I have been doing a lot more knitting and been doing a little bit of crochet. So I'm going to start off with my cross stitch. I only have two things to show on it. The main two things that I've been working on. Where is it at? Nope, not that. There we go. I have recently been working on this one. I did a stitch with me on it. This is my rainbow dog. I do not know if this shop is still open. It was Etsy pattern, Etsy shop, but it hadn't been there in a while. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. And this is how far I have gotten on it so far. Gotten down here into the ear. I went to a stitch with me last weekend, and I totally forgot to bring the threads, but luckily somebody had some black, and I was able to put in about 500 stitches of black in this section. So yeah, that is that one. So last month I probably put in about 2,000 stitches, or yeah, I'd say about 1,500 stitches into that particular project. Whoop, hi Aries! Aries decided to come join us. She's gonna lay there, give herself a bath. Alright, and so my other one, let me make this bigger, sorry for the clicking. Make it bigger so you can see it. There we go. This is my Gecko Rouge. This has been what I've been trying to focus on the most this year, because I want to try to work towards a finish. I really need to start cross-stitching more if I'm going to finish anything. Alright, so this is how much I've gotten on it. I don't have pictures of how much I had or what my progress is, but I'm working Royal Rose on this pattern, so I'm just slowly working across here. So it's coming along. I'm enjoying it still, so that's a big thing. I don't have any new patterns except that I'm doing. I have no new starts planned. Like I said, unfortunately, knitting and crochet has taken over 90% of my day. So, alright, so let me show you. I've got one thing finished. Well, technically I have a few things finished, but not 100%. So I can't show everything I finished because most of everything I have finished I have given away. But yesterday I completed my first actual crochet project that I've started. I started doing crochet here recently. I have a lot of old yarn that I want to use. It's not yarn that I will use in anything I would wear type project, so I've been making bags. So I made just a little crochet bag to carry projects in. Like some of my larger projects will fit in here. It's like I can take one of my larger rolls, fit in there, and there we go. And I can carry it around with me and not have to worry about squishing the yarn. So I finished this. I plan on making a couple more types of bags that I can carry around, and that way I can use up some of my old yarn that you can tell is drying out or like old quantity. So that is that finish. That is the only crochet finish I have. And then I have another crochet project that I've been working on. This is the mandala yarn here. I don't really like knitting with it too much, so I decided that I was going to start a blanket and do crochet. Simon, quit attacking my pillow, please. So I decided to start a crochet blanket. So I don't work on it very often. I throw a row or two on it, and that's probably about what it'll continue doing. It's just kind of a every now and then when I want to switch up from knitting, I will do a round or two of crochet. Put this back over here. All right, so that is, and then I don't have it with me, but I'm making granny, like, well, you two stop. They're being silly. They're attacking something at the top of the bed, like my pillow. It spooked them somehow. Okay, yes, when I have extra yarn, like just small portions of yarn left over, I'm adding those into granny squares that I'm putting to the side, and when I get enough of them, I will make a blanket out of the granny squares. But that way I have a use for, say, like this much yarn. You know, this isn't going to make much, but I can add it to the granny square and make a couple of granny squares, and it at least gets used. And kind of like a scrap granny square blanket is basically what I'm making. So yeah. Let's see. So I have finished a sock, and I'm about to start the second half of it so I can have a matching pair. And then I have another sock I finished, and I have to make the other pair. I'm bad about having multiple projects of socks, different colors going at the same time. That way I can change up what I'm working on. Might not change type of knitting I'm doing, but it changes the color. Because like this one is kind of more of a bland color. So I do get tired of knitting on this particular one, and this is an extremely long sock. So I do have that. So I will be casting on probably about 2 new socks here in the next day. Probably about by the end of the week, I'll probably have 2 new socks on the needles. And then I'm working on a scarf. This is the mandala yarn here. It's real bright and pretty. I'm doing a fisherman ribbed stitch on it. This is going to be a gift to my mom. I've started putting markers on where I started the month out. So this is where I started knitting last month. So I made that much progress on it in the month of March. Right? Yeah. So when I start knitting on this, I will move this stitch up here so I can get an idea on how much I get done this month. So I like doing that so I can see how much progress I've made. Okay, so the other thing I want to show is my sweater that I've been working on. This one has been worked on out of Encore Color Spun yarn. It is 75% acrylic, 25% wool. This is a sweater I'm making for myself. I have the body done, yoke, whatever. I don't know what they're called. It's my first ever sweater. And then I've got it down to here. And now I've got to do the neck and the arms. So I'm hoping to have this done by the end of this month. Because I'm not making this a long sleeve sweater. It's going to be a short sleeve sweater. Let's see. Is it this one? This is what the sweater is supposed to look like. I think mine will be not quite the same, but that's the design I went for. But it's my very first attempt at a sweater, and I just finished the ribbing and did the bind off on the bottom half of the sweater like Sunday. Yeah, I bound it off on Sunday. All right, next project. Like I said, I have quite a few knitting projects here, and then I'll do haul at the end. We'll save this one for last because it's part of haul. Well, most everything I'm working on is haul yarn, but I do not have a pattern of this. I have the pattern for this, but I do not have it saved. If you've watched any of my stuff, it's coming loose. This is a shoulder wrap I've been working on. I'm about done with this coloring of it. It's about time to start. I think I have another few rows, and then I will start the next round of coloring. I think we change out the purple and go blue and red. So I think I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah. So that's this one I've been working on. I've not worked on it here in the last little while, but I will be pulling it back out here pretty soon. There. The other shoulder wrap that I have been working on, it is not a actual pattern. It is just a 4-row repeat that I decided to turn into a shoulder wrap. So that is here. Nice and long. And this is about what I've done on in the last 2 weeks, because I just decided to mark this 2 weeks ago. So I'm losing yarn. I'm losing. Do that way it doesn't lose anything. So that is where this is. It's over halfway. This is using this Big Twist Comfy yarn. It's 100% acrylic, so it'll stand up to wear and tear. It's super, it's like a, yeah, it's a 5 weight. So I like it. I really enjoy working on this one. All right. Now we'll show my beanie. I'm making this beanie for my daughter. I'm about ready to start doing the decreases because she likes really long beanies that she can fold up. So I normally have to knit these pretty long before I start the decreases. And then I think there's enough of this that I can even make her a little pair of wrist warmers. So that's the goal for this. If not, I'll go get more of the yarn. Is that all that's over there? I think so. I'm about showed all that I have. I have have two more things to show. Blankets. So I'm making this blanket. It's just, I don't know what it's called. It's just little openings here on the side. But I'm making this blanket. It's just gonna be like a little lap throw for my daughter. This is being made out of, this is hand-dyed alpaca, maple leaf meadow. So I've been working on that. I started working on that. That was all March progress. I haven't touched it any this month, so when I start on working on this again, I'll put a marker on it so I know where I'm at and how much I've gotten done. And then my final project is here. This is a rectangled fisherman rib blanket, lap throw, basically. So this is where I'm at on this. I'm doing multiple colors. I've got a white, then I'll switch it to this color here, which this was all yarn I had in my stock, but I ran out of this color and decided I really liked the way I was mixing it. So I went to Hobby Lobby and found the color basic, almost a match. And this is, I love this yarn. So I was able to like match it close enough that you really can't tell that I changed the color partially through it. So I have started the corner. So this is going to be the width of it. So from here to here, so it's going to be a nice length. So now we're going up with it for a bit. And I have, once I get done with that color, I still have this dark color to add. And then I will go back to the other way. Once I get it to the length that I'm going to get it and start decreasing, then I will start, because I'm going to, I'm got this as much as I'm putting on this particular round. I'm going to switch to the orange, put a strip of that. Then I'm going to use all of this yarn, then do the strip of orange again, and then switch back to this color. And then stripe it, put the orange, go back to this color, stripe it, go to orange, stripe it, go to white, then stripe it, go back to there. Kind of like what I did on the first one, you know. I did a couple of rows of light, dark, stripe, dark, stripe, light, stripe, dark. So just kind of follow the same pattern. That's a, maybe that will be done by Christmas this year, so I can give it to my grandpa. We will see. Okay, so that is all my actual knitting projects. I forgot to tell you, my sock yarn was all this brand, which the Cassidy Yarns Heritage Prints. That's what all my sock yarn was. I have this one here too. I'm gonna make into socks. I have decided I'm gonna make shorter socks than my longer socks, because these are okay and all that, but I do wear the shorter socks more unless I'm making them for my husband. And truthfully, for my husband, he doesn't like this real fine weight. He prefers like a size, a DK weight for a sock. So, yeah. Let's see here. Let's go over and talk about some of my yarn that I've bought recently. I have this yarn here, which is Joanna's yarn. It's a Lion brand yarn called Pandemic. I really like it. It's real soft. I had a pair of socks I was working on it, but I was doing a different heel, and I totally hated the way it fit once I got past the heel. So I ripped it all out. So I will start this again, but I'm going to work on the other two socks that I need to finish the mates for. So, yeah. I got this yarn here. I'm going to make a beanie out of. I should have just enough to do one beanie, hopefully, but we'll see. And then I have this yarn here that I got at the Hobby Lobby sale. I really like this yarn. What is this? This is the Yarn Bee Color Play Royal Guard yarn. So I think this would make I'm going to see how this looks turned into a beanie. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how much yarn it'll take to make a beanie out of that. I'm still learning on my yardage. Alrighty. And then now the rest of the yarn that I have is stuff that most of the yarn that I currently have is yarn that I've picked up at my local LNS shop. I think they're called LNS shops. I don't know. My local yarn shop. I go there almost basically weekly. I go to a knit group over there, and I always seem to walk out with yarn in my hand. So I bought this yarn here. This is Superwash Merino Wool, 40% acrylic. I really like the color. I made a hat for my grandpa out of this type of yarn, and I really liked the texture of it and the stretchiness of it. So I'm going to make one for myself. And yeah, so don't do that. Sorry. And then, so that's what this is. I've got a lot of hat ideas to make hats. All right, and then I've got this, which is Homestead Tweed. This is 90% wool, 10% dongle. I don't know. This should make a complete hat. It will be very, very close in making a hat. So I'm hoping that it'll make a complete hat. This is not quite 200 yards. So it should be close for the size hats that I make. So there's that. I really like this gray, and it has little speckles of colors in there. So I think that's going to make a really cool hat. And then I have this. I don't remember what kind of weight this was. I think this was worsted. Sorry, I'm looking to see if I can figure out what size this was. I have no clue. I have not learned how to read some of these labels. All right, so this is worsted weight. There should be just enough in here to make a hat. This is Superwash Merino Wool. I just really love this. It's coming off a little more blue in the camera, but it's more of a purplish blue. So in the camera, to me, it looks like it's a royal blue, but it's more of a purple, kind of bluish color. I know, what is the name of this? Yeah, it's called Purple Mystery, so it's not really blue, it's more of a purple. And then I've got this one, which is a worsted weight. Another beanie idea, but I really loved the variegation in this yarn. So I really liked that. And then my last piece of yarn, this is superwash. This is 100% superwash wool. Should be just enough to make a beanie. Like I said, I have a lot of beanies planned, but I really enjoy the blue variation in this one. I think it's gonna make an awesome looking beanie. But yeah, I've got those. And the other thing, like I picked up a bunch of jewelry type stuff, and I decided to start making my own stitch markers. Come on, focus. So yeah, I have a bunch of stitch markers that I've made. I've got little owls, I've got hearts, I've got many more to make as well. Not hearts, I have stars, excuse me. I've got different types of owls. That owl. And then I got this owl. And then got a few of these. Just have little sayings on them. This says find your fire. So, but yeah, I've got those. So I've been using these as my stitch markers to mark my progress, to mark when I need to mark where I'm located at, how many stitches I'm down, whatnot. I think that's about all I've got. I think I've shown everything. I will say that my knitting needle progress, hook things have increased. I've decided to take an old makeup bag my kids were not using anymore. So I have a bunch of little things, like I have my measuring tape, my scissors, I have all the little adapters, not adapters, the little things I need for my interchangeable needles, my little hook for when I drop my threads. I've got all my cords here, and then in here I have all my interchangeable needles, and then I have my long ones in here. So this was a really cool thing. I need to get a few. I want to get more of them because I like carrying everything with me. Like anywhere I go, I enjoy the fact that I can just take all my needles with me, no matter where I go. So that, in my opinion, is really cool. All right, I think I'm just rambling now, and I'm just going to go ahead and call it a day. I'll try to do a stitch with me sometime this week. I'm not sure when, because I also want to do a Twitch live as well. Yeah. Plans, but actually having them go through. That's the key. Alrighty, everybody. Yeah, now I'm just making making no sense to anybody. So I'm going to say goodbye, good night to whoever, whatever time range you are in the world. And I hope everybody has a great week, and I will see you next time. Happy stitching, happy knitting, happy doing the craft that you enjoy.